All right, we're back from Maryland with a look at the Watkins Johnson. It's WJ8611. This is one of the older WJ receivers made for commercial military use. As you can see, it's in the kind of single rack format, is in comparison to things like the 8711A, which is full 19-inch double rack. The 8611 is an interesting receiver because it's labeled right here as a digital VHF UHF receiver, but actually this receiver coverage extends literally from 0.00 kilohertz all the way up to 1000 or 1 gigahertz. So you have in this single radio coverage of the shortwave bands, FM, up through airband, and all the way up to 1000 megahertz. You can see it looks similar to the WJ8711A and other Watkins Johnson receivers with these wide number buttons, the selector buttons with modes here on the top, headphone, and an edit knob right here which allows you to switch modes. But actually you can switch them here with these buttons. For example, tune right now to 9275. I'll turn that up for you. 9275. I can just go right through the various detection modes from AM, FM, CW, USB, LSB, ISB, and AM. Same applies to the bandwidths right here. And the bandwidths go all the way up on this one to, it's from 0.2 to 200 kilohertz. So you can scroll right through those right from the front button. The interesting thing about this is that it has no passband tuning mode like the 8711 or the 8712P. So there's no passband tuning in this, and there's no notch filter. You basically have your bandwidths available to you, and your modes, and they form the basics of your reception capability. I've got this hooked up to a Grove SP200 sound enhancer. This is the first test of the radio as it arrived here from a seller in China, and that's the same seller that in 2022 I was able to obtain a literally new in box 8711A. Some of you may have seen that YouTube video of the unboxing of that receiver. So I'll just give you a quick spin through here and turn up the speaker volume and show you what it can do. The bandwidths are operable only in AM and CW mode. SSB is fixed, as is ISB. So that's another limitation of this receiver. It's actually kind of a very basic receiver. And again, without passband tuning or notch filter, it lacks those two, somewhat important tools. But it's rock stable, rock solid on frequency, as most WJs are. So let me turn that up. I'll give you some tune on it. 9275 shortwave. I'm going to tune up and see what's on the air.
Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 declares,
You need to do.
So not much audible. It's about 4:30 p.m. here in Maryland. I'm going to go up to 25 meters. I have some early fade-in of Chinese frequency 11640, 11625. Brazil remains off the air. The Brazilian frequency 11780 is off the air for quite a few days now. There's BBC 11810 coming in quite well. And if we go up to 12095, we'll hear BBC there as well. We go down 12050. Zambia, the religious station 11965. Back to BBC. And let's just punch in here and go up to 15580 for VOA. I presume that's still from Botswana. Spain 15520 and Spain also on 17855. Give you an example of the selectivity effect on AM mode. That's 10 kilohertz on the bandwidth, 15 kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, 3.2, 5.0, and 6.4. One other thing on this receiver, like AEG, Roden Schwartz, and similar German receivers, you have this tuning aid, which has a low and a high indicator, so you know when you're exactly on the center frequency in terms of tuning. Not a really critical thing to have, but an interesting little toy to have on a receiver of this nature. So 1717790. Again, Spain was above that. Let's go down. Let's go up to CB 27 megahertz and see what's coming up there. I'm using a RF Systems EMF long wire antenna, about 15 to 20 feet long, actually 15 feet long, just out here in the back of my deck.
Windjammer counter on the mag. You take it easy, take care. I appreciate the shout, no doubt. No way. Pay attention now, I gotta go.
A lot of activity up there, 27 megahertz. I'll give you an example of FM reception on this. I'm going to go to WAMU FM 88.5 here in the DC area, and we'll hit that, and we'll go up to 150 to 200 kilohertz on the bandwidth, because that's what we need for FM. And
during Theater Week, and most of the events are free with registration at theaterweek.org. We have a big celebration at Arena Stage, which we call the Kick Fest. It's there are 40 theaters coming, and in addition to them, there's local restaurants and beverage companies. Potentially even commercial.
Yeah, I like to, I was one of those. Yeah.
my apologies there. I was actually in AM mode when I'm tuning in FM. So here's an example now of FM reception on the radio.
Theater Center, and it's been described as a truth is stranger than fiction drama about...
So there you go. It's an interesting receiver, the WJ8611. This one is, what's the serial number on this radio? I think it's in the 1200 range, marked as Gaithersburg, Maryland. Again, this receiver came from an interesting apparent stockpile of these receivers in China, as did an 8711A to me last year. And there were 2 or 3 of these receivers available from this particular seller. Again, the WJ8611, I'll have a couple more videos on this once I get it hooked up to one of my loop antennas here in Maryland. Thanks for watching.